Welcome to the home of Project Dream Mastery. Here at PDM, we are challenging the status quo of what it means to follow your dreams and how to unlock the power those dreams will bring to your life. The show experience will be unscripted, authentic, and transparent. So now, sit back, relax, and get inspired with your hosts, Lucas Johnson and Patryk Labuzek.
Wow, what an intro to start the show off with. Am I right, Patty?
That's right, Lucas.
I feel inspired. I feel ready. I feel pumped to get this show started. So first off, hello and welcome to the first episode of the Project Dream Mastery Show. Episode 1 is all for you. It will help you get a feel for the show, what the PDM movement is all about, who the hosts are, and expectations for the future. My name is Lucas P. Johnson, based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I am one of the 2 hosts here at PDM. And the other man behind the mic, and also one of my best friends, business partners, co-founders of PDM, and co-host for the PDM show, Patryk Labuzek. Can I mention that he's based out of Ireland and was born in Poland? How cool is that? How are you doing today, Patryk?
Very good, Lucas. How about yourself?
Hey, no complaints. I'm here with you today, so it's going to be exceptional.
As always.
Are you excited? Are you ready to go? You got those last minute jitters out?
Super pumped. Yeah. Completely, yeah.
And what they don't know is this is actually our second take for this first episode, which is, it's supposed to be unscripted, but this first episode just has to be perfect. So I'm excited. That brings us into the topic of our show today. We will be focusing on the power of connection, friendship, and a dream. Only feels right to help you understand who we are and what PDM is all about. And for transparency, as you may already be guessing, that was all scripted, but the rest of the show will be full of amazing content, real life stories, and insane value. So let's jump right into our stories, who we are, what we want to help you with, and how pumped we are to have you listening to our show right now. If you made it this far in the show, then you might as well subscribe right now so that you have instant access to future releases, because this show is going to be epic. And that was just the beginning. I mean, seriously, that was just a show intro. You definitely do not want to miss out on some of our crazy travel stories. And I mean, they are wicked awesome. So let's jump right into our conversation, our stories. And just, this is really supposed to be informal. This is supposed to be just a chat. So Patty, I want them to know, I think this is really crucial. How did we meet?
Oh, this goes way back. Well, I mean, it feels like it's been years and years since we met. But in reality, it's been only 2 years, 2018, which was probably the best year of our lives, as you can probably agree.
That was simply one of the best years probably of my life so far, but I'll continue.
So far, definitely. Yeah, so we met in the most distant place in the world we could possibly think of going, which was Sydney, Australia. Half a world away. So we went there for our student exchanges. You from, the United States, me from Ireland. And if I'm, remembering correctly, I think we met somewhere on the beach.
I think if I recall correctly, that sounds somewhat right.
Yeah. So, everything started on the beach. Yeah, just
before
perfect.
or after the tequila, I can't remember.
Yeah.
So Patty and I, it was really interesting, just kind of the story and the foundation of how we met, because we both arrived 2 months before our exchange program was supposed to begin. And it's not really every day that people show up 2 months before a program starts, because most folks, they don't want their kid going and partying too much. So
that's right.
Patty and I, we one of the guys that ended up joining the group, he actually built a really large Facebook group, and it kind of makes me think about how a dream can come to life. I had this vision for what Australia was going to be, and Patty, you did as well. What was your vision? What did you think Australia was going to be, and what did it turn out to be?
Well, first of all, I always dreamed of going to Australia, so it was a big, big wish of mine to get at some stage from, as we all know, Europe is a pretty small place compared to a lot of other countries in our world, and so I traveled far and wide across Europe because, me, Lucas, I just love traveling. I can't stay in a single place for too long. And so there I was, going around the place. I've heard of the possibility of doing a student exchange to anywhere I want to go in the world. So this kind of became my ultimate goal at the end of the day to, get my grades, do what I have to do to go to the single country that I always wanted to visit, which was Australia. And there I was, I'd say 3 months after I, made that choice. I filled out all the paperwork and submitted my grades, picked my university in Australia, all my courses, all the kind of stuff that I was accepted. And, as a matter of weeks, I was flying to Sydney, which just seemed surreal. And going back to your question, sorry, what I thought of Australia before even getting there was I didn't think much. Honestly, I just wanted to have fun, in my family, I'm one of the youngest. So all my cousins were already finished with their university degrees or go on exchange.
Is that right? You're all your Polish family, right?
That's right. All my Polish family, who've been on exchanges themselves. They were saying it was their time of their lives. They had so much fun. It was a great opportunity for all of them. They were like, go explore, meet people, and do all those crazy things you wouldn't get to do at home. And, I've taken that aboard, and I went to Australia completely by myself. I didn't know a single person. I didn't know where I'm going to live. So that was an adventure straight away. From the minute I walked into Dublin Airport.
You showed up, you had no idea where you were going to live. I remember that.
No idea.
You were still saying that when we met. You're like, yeah, I haven't really found a place yet, but I think I like this one. And I'm like, dude, you've been here for what, 2 weeks now? That's
exactly right. So, I wasn't sleeping on the streets or anything like that, because my cousin, one of her best friends, moved to Australia a few years before we went there, and she kind of hit me up with him. I had a nice chat, and he was like, "Look, man, you can sleep on my couch, whatever, until you find a place." And he lived in the prime spot of Sydney, right beside Bondi Beach. So I loved it. I was just right there. And actually, the minute I kind of arrived to Sydney and, took an Uber to my new accommodation, I was like, man, I'm going to Bondi Beach. That's where I spend my day. Before actually, looking for a place. But, eventually things work out. I found the right spot for me, and it was great. Yeah.
So your dream came to life, and what this show is all about is talking about how your dreams can come to life. I know for us, we both had some amazing and incredible journeys throughout the last, 2 years now, man, since we met.
2 years, yeah. It's crazy.
And we do reunion trips. So when I said in the intro that there was some serious travel stories, I wasn't joking. I mean, there's a lot of crazy things that have been done in numerous countries. And the fact is, we had a dream to start a show. And I know that we're far off from Australia right now, but it brings it back to Patty having a dream. He wanted to go to Australia. Me, I had this dream to go to Australia. I never thought I could afford it. I never thought I was going to be able to go. And in fact, when I asked to be able to do it, I already knew the answer was going to be no. So I applied anyway. And I was hoping I was going to get a scholarship. And then my parents said, no, you can't go. Can't go. So 2 months go by. The earlier program that I was accepted to, which means I would have never met you, I was planning on going. And that was the one my parents shot me down for. And then I missed the deadline. So 2 months go by. They go, hey, we've really thought about it. We've tried to figure out how you can go. Is this something that we could really do as a family? And I mean, I live, I have a middle class family here in the United States. And again, this is really unique for us to meet and even have what we're having right now, Project Dream Mastery. I mean, the show itself is unbelievable because Patty's based in Ireland. I am based in Eastern United States, and two different worlds. So we're a world apart when you think about it, especially in COVID-19. I mean,
especially these times. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Isolation, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, you're right, Lucas. It's crazy to think that, I'm not gonna say different kinds of people because we have a lot of things in common, more than a lot of people can actually.
Two different worlds, though.
Two different worlds, that's for sure. Europe, United States, and we would definitely not have met if it wasn't for Australia. That's obvious. And so it was Australia that gave us the opportunity to it was my dream going there, your dream going there, our dreams that eventually allowed us, to do what we love to do. And that's this, and travel together and having all those adventures and crazy stories to tell and the experiences that we had.
Freddie, I remember looking at my phone and all these random people are texting me that I've never met in my entire life. And I am an extrovert by heart. Okay. So this is something that I can relate with. I can see these people messaging me and I'm like, all right, yeah, let me hit them up. I started this group with Grant, and this show or this group has turned into, 500 people overnight. And you're like, well, how many people on our exchange program? But there was 7 folks that were actually in town. And one of them, I told her, I was like, oh, whatever, you don't want to hang out with us, whatever. She ended up being one of our best friends too.
That's right.
Amazing. But it was really incredible how things come together, because when I first got there, I was worried about making friends. I went with a group. I went with, I don't even remember what it was called, Semester in Australia or something like that. I went with an organization. They had a group. You met those people, but I was one of the only folks that were staying in Sydney, Australia. So when I had the chance and opportunity to meet you and the other, the rest of our crew that we like to call the Goon Squad, because our adventures were just insane, my dream came to life. That is exactly what I'm so pumped about. Even now, 2 years later, the fact that I have these lifelong friends, these people that I can count on, rely on. I mean, Patty, me and you talk once or twice, maybe a couple times a month, and maybe sometimes more.
Yeah. Like if we don't video call, we always chat anyways. So message. So we're constantly in touch.
And it's just really incredible how things come together. And that's why I'm so excited for this show, because we're focusing on topics that relate to mastering your dreams, and what makes us be able to say that, what experience do we have to be able to say you can master your dreams? Okay. I'm going to start off with this one. I have constantly been someone that has been seeking out my dreams and actively pursuing them. I'm an entrepreneur by heart. Now I work in a career that is somewhat entrepreneurial, whatever the word I just used, somewhat a career in that. But the thing is, I've just always wanted to achieve them. I received my bachelor's degree from Penn State University in business management. I received a minor in global and international studies. I've started off in some folks would call it a dream job. And I think Patty and I both have a dream job. But sometimes you want to go outside your boundaries and pursue your dreams too. And I think from my point of view, we have so many things to offer from our experience over the last 23, 24 years. I don't know. This guy over here is a little bit older.
24, yeah. My brother was just yesterday, so there you go. The clock is ticking. Yeah, Lucas, that's right. And I think it's important to highlight here that, it's important to follow your dreams, because that's what we did at the end of the day. That's what got this whole thing started, was our dreams and trying to achieve them, and, taking step by step, and eventually here we are.
Eventually we are right here.
We are right here, and that's just surreal.
Patty, we have done a lot of crazy things, and I would like to say that's what could help us kind of relate with people. We're on our own dream seeking adventure. I mean, we are. I mean, Patty's got an amazing blog, and he puts up some really awesome stuff. And quick plug. Go ahead.
Thanks, Lucas. Yeah, at least I try. My blog, which actually started just after Australia, because we experienced some incredible things. Incredible, like, my words cannot describe what we've been through, what we saw, what we did. It was just an insane and wild time. And so I thought the best way to not even put it out there, but to kind of have a permanent souvenir for myself was to write it all down. And I'm not a writer by any means, or a creator, or a professional or a blogger or influencer, anything like that. I've, graduated with a computer science degree. So they asked me to build my own website, and that was easy. That was what I've been taught from the start. So I decided to put all those things together, create a blog, alwayssomewhere.net.
You heard it here first, folks.
alwayssomewhere.net. It's a travel and lifestyle blog. Recently kind of, merging with videography. But, I'm a photography amateur. So the things you see in the background there, for example, that's one of my photos. And I try to just create a, quality content, something inspirational, something that, people can read, think about, and just like get motivated to follow their dreams, because I have a feeling that a lot of us are kind of
stuck,
kind of held back by a lot of things in the times that we live in right now, whether that's financial situation or family situation, or right now the COVID-19 pandemic. There's a lot of things that are pulling us back. But I think it's, we have to try and move forward, and at the end of the day, try to achieve our dreams, to be happy. To be happy. I think that's what any human wants, happiness.
And Patty's being a little bit humble, and I really do appreciate that. You're being significantly humble about your photography skills. Patty is one of the best photographers that I know, and I've seen all of his work. I mean, it's really hard to brag about yourself when you need to, but in reality, Patty has an incredible collection, and we also have something brewing. It's called PL Studios, but that's not what today's show is about. Patty, I'm really grateful to have you as a friend. I'm really grateful to call you one of my best friends.
Likewise, Lucas.
And I was just saying to Patty yesterday, Patryk, Patty, whatever you want to be called. I was saying to Patty yesterday that, some people bring out the worst in us, and some of us, we don't realize it till it's too late. I realize that Patty brings out some of the best possible me. I don't even know if I said that right. The best possible me that I can be. That's right. That's how you say it. It brings out.
That sounds great.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. It works, unscripted, right?
That's right.
So I was saying that to him yesterday, just because he makes me think about the things that others don't. And for the longest time, I've been surrounded by a lot of great people. I've always tried to find a great network, a great circle. But when I have chats with Patty, my mind just starts spinning. I start thinking about things in a lot more depth. He is a perfect complement to the show, perfect complement to PDM, Coaching 10, all these things we got brewing. He is a perfect complement because we bring out the best in each other. And, if you're going to take one thing away from today is don't get stuck. And that's kind of the words of Patty. Don't get stuck in have these things in your life where you think you can't overcome them, whether it's your friends, whether it's, the people that surround you, or, your family, or your expectations people have on you, or the dream you have. I mean, don't get stuck believing that you can't do something, because things can become a reality just in the flick of a finger. That's life. That's life.
Yeah, exactly. And we just have to go for it. That's at the end of the day, that's what you have to do. Our dreams of going to Australia, if I can add something to that, at least for me, there was a lot of obstacles on the way. Obviously, one thing is the distance. Australia is a world away. Second thing are the costs. Australia being one of the most expensive countries in the world to live. And I'm not talking here about going on holiday to Australia for 2 weeks. I'm talking about studying in Australia for 6 months. That is an undertaking for anyone, a costly undertaking.
Especially if you're drinking. I'm not cough.
Yes.
Okay, continue. Sorry.
Exactly.
You want a schooner with that?
So that's two obstacles already in the way of getting there. The third that I can think of on top of my head is, we applied to one of the prestigious universities in Australia, the, University of New South Wales, and hard to get into, very hard to get into. And one of the only few schools in Australia that kind of accept international students at that big scale. So, what I'm talking about here is the obstacle of, they just trying to get those grades to get it to Australia. You know what I mean? So that's one, gathering that lump sum of money to be able to live, eat, socialize, and, go on a few trips here and there. Not in our case, we've done more than a few trips. But
yeah, something like that.
yeah, but all those obstacles, and I'm sure you had same kind of things going on in your life, they didn't stop us. And I think they didn't stop us because we were determined and we had the opportunity to do what we wanted to do. And this motivated us to get it done. Whether it was got those grades, you got those grades. I had to work 2 years at a low paying job, saved up as much as possible to go to Australia, and paid off big time.
Crazy opportunities, man. It's really crazy how things come together when you least expect it. I mean, if you keep your expectations low, then you don't really have anything to miss. And for me, I try to keep high expectations, but at a middle ground. That way, I don't set the bar too high and I don't set them too low. But for me, Australia, it far exceeded my expectations. And that we have such a here in the United States, I think we really put a focus on expectations. I mean, families, they want you to go to college. They want you to have the best possible job. They want you to do things that are going to advance your future. Everyone has expectations that put so much damn stress. And I'm sure it's the same way in Ireland. I had that opportunity to experience that in action. I mean, even whenever we went to the pub and there was stuff going on there, you could see how expectations are being played just by going to that pub or going to one of your buddies' colleges. Colleges, right? College, yeah. That was really, really cool. University, college, all the same thing here. It was just really cool to see how people have these expectations they put on you. And we had expectations when we went to Australia and we traveled all these places.
That's right.
And our families had expectations. And one thing about this show is we're going to lay down the foundation for why you need to defy those expectations, why you need to come out of your comfort zones and do the things that make you happy, defy those damn expectations, dream big and love deeply. That is simply what Project Dream Mastery is all about. We have all these things that are brewing up in us and around us. And, this needs to be this is a great opportunity for you to have somewhere to cool down and focus and have that opportunity to really think about what's going on in your life. And we want to help you along that journey. Patty and I have some really unique stories, travel, even some of our personal stuff that Patty and I may have not talked about. We really want to unravel all of that for you here on the show. So that kind of brings me back to what you were saying in your previous comment there is about being stuck. Have you ever outside of travel, have you ever felt like you were just stuck and you couldn't get past this barrier or this challenge or this obstacle where you wanted to do something so bad? I mean, and you just knew you couldn't, but somehow you ended up persevering through.
That's a very tough question to answer because I feel like in our lives there's been so much of those kind of moments where you feel stuck. So I think it's hard for me to pick out a single one. But
you want a minute to think? I can tell one of mine.
Go on if you have something on the top of your head.
So I have a lot of crazy things that have come together with Patty and I, but outside of that, there's been a lot of things that just have happened in my personal life that are like a dime a dozen. I mean, even like almost getting struck by lightning. When I was 17, my house caught on fire. I mean, this wasn't the one I was actually thinking of, but it all kind of went together. When I was 17, I was junior year of college or junior year of high school. That's better. Junior year of high school. at my house, and all of a sudden we had electrical fire, and I was downstairs, and I was in the basement, and the electrical box was in the other room. Luckily, I closed the damn door because that room scares me. I always thought there was ghosts and stuff in that room. So luckily, I closed the door. So I was down there for about an hour and a half while this fire was slowly cooking its way up. It was slowly starting to bring itself to a full-on fire. The power went out, and the internet was in that room as well. Everything was in that room, and nothing really valuable besides for some pictures and board games and stuff like that, and DVDs and VCR tapes. So all that stuff it can be it can be replaced. Luckily, no one's life was ever injured or anything happened from this. I'm going to say that from the get-go. But I was down there for an hour and a half while this was cooking. I went up the stairs as if nothing was even happening. I had no idea what was happening. And then I worked my way upstairs. Like, hey, Mom, internet's out. Well, I need to submit something. I need to submit a paper before I go to football practice. Well, all of a sudden I come back down. I go, hey, I'm going to reset the internet. I'm swearing at this point. I don't usually swear, but I had so much stuff on my plate that day. My mom was finishing up with clients. She works in healthcare, so she was taking care of that. And all of a sudden we start seeing smoke. The client left. My mom starts seeing smoke. I can't smell at this point. I had all these things wrong with my nose, and I just couldn't smell smoke. So I'm getting ready to open up the basement door, and all of a sudden, before my eyes, my mom starts screaming, "Don't open that door." And Patty, I'm just going to say this. This is one of the scariest times of my life where I felt like I was stuck. I feel like I'm this conqueror. I feel like I'm this hero. I'm going to go down and figure out, what's going on. I'm going to take the little tiny, fire extinguisher down. I'm going to put out this fire if there is one. I thought maybe I've only seen them on TV. Let's be real. I've only ever seen something like that on TV. And what was in front of me was a choice. Do I open that door, or do I listen to my mom and call 911? Luckily, I didn't open the door, and that's where I said no one's life was hurt. But this next day, the fire marshal came and said simply, and there's a lot more to this. They said that if I would have opened that door, I would have fell into like a super hot burn, and I would have not made it out. And after that, that scarred someone. I ended up in the hospital. One, because I was just my house just burnt down. The interior of my house was just crushed. Luckily, the exterior was still there, so we were able to recover that. But everything in the house had to be thrown out. I mean, I was stuck. I was in a point in my life where everything was just it wasn't great. I never drank before that, so it was 17 when I really drank my first beer. And let me just say. When you are in a place in your life where you just feel stuck and you turn to things that you otherwise wouldn't, that was a huge leap for me. I mean, I felt stuck, and luckily I had an amazing group of friends that helped me get out of the rut. And yeah, I drank a couple beers, but then I realized that life goes on, and all those memories and all those things, they could be replaced. And I'm just so grateful to have the opportunity that I got to go to Australia, and all this stuff led up to another thing and another thing. I ended up getting really back in caution. Like there was a bunch of stuff that was all happening in that rut. But when I turned 18 and I graduated, it was like all these things are coming back together. And then going back into college. I mean, there's just so many things that happen in your life where you feel stuck, and you have to have the right people in your life, that circle that really helps you overcome that. So I try to keep that as short as possible. There's a lot of detail that goes into that. So if you have questions, feel free to comment on this, and I'll be happy to answer some of that, but that's really deep for me. And I just kind of put that out there for Patty.
That's for sure.
Do you have time to think of anything?
I was just so engaged in your story, honestly. You've told me that before, but it's always fascinating to hear how a single moment in our life can change and impact who we become in the future, and it's very powerful. A moment that I was stuck. I think this goes back to the expectations you were talking about earlier. The expectations from parents, the expectations from your family, the expectations from teachers. If I ever was stuck, I felt like I was stuck in the first year of my degree. And that's because everybody, I'm not bragging about it, but I went to a prestigious school here in Ireland, and I was lucky enough to get there. That's number one thing. Once you get there, once anybody gets there, there's certain expectations. you have to keep up. You have to act in a certain way. You have to represent the university in this way or the other. And there's a lot of things put on top of your head. Computer science itself, in Ireland at least, is one of the hardest degrees to pass. At the start there was 350 of us. Now only a bunch graduated. So just last year. So that's that kind of underlines those expectations that are put on your shoulders. And so getting back to it, the expectations was to study, get your grades, and not as much about going out of your comfort zones, exploring who you really are, what you want to do. And I feel like, a lot of people would say that, oh, you've picked your degree, that was your choice, kind of, that's exactly what you wanted to do, so now study for it. And I completely understand that, you do have to put in the work and all that kind of stuff, but it makes you you're being stuck in a place. You're not really moving forward. You're not finding out what you like to do. You're kind of just working, 24/7. You're thinking, you're working, you're waking up, you're going to college lectures, you've got projects on your head. And it's not until I went intrailing. So for any of you who don't know, intrailing it's quite famous in Europe. It's essentially backpacking through all the European countries by rail. So crazy experience. And me, 3 of my friends, we had no idea where we're going. We bought a ticket, we jumped on a train one summer, and next day we ended up in France, then Italy, Croatia, all those different countries, meeting all those different people. And those people that we met on the way kind of opened my eyes to what we can do. We don't have to be stuck in this place. We can work very hard to defy expectations, and to do what we really want to do deep down. And so I got inspired by, people that I met on the way, and mostly, by people from New Zealand that I met, and Australia, crazy enough. And, I met a very cool guy, Harry, typical Aussie, very laid back, we had chats with everyone as you do, socialize. And they've been telling me that, some of them were, for instance, this one French guy, he used to be an atomic plant engineer. Think about it. Working an atomic plant. That's a crazy job.
That's crazy.
Very well paid. And he decided to throw all of this down and just go. Pick a bag and just go explore the world, do what he wanted to do, just be free, without all those expectations people have. And just wanted to do his own thing. And because of, I was inspired by their stories. I was inspired that they can do whatever they want to do. Kind of opened this door that I can do whatever I want to do. And yes, I'm in college. I study this super crazy difficult course, but I can still travel. And that kind of was like, okay, how can I do that? And one of those ways was the international exchange. So, I feel like that was the moment in my life, first year of college, that I was stuck. And just because I was inspired, what we're trying to essentially hear right now, inspire other people to defy expectations, dream big. And, that was part of my story. Defying expectations and moving forward, experiencing new things and going out of the comfort zone.
So Patty, would you say that being stuck in these expectations that you had, freshman year of college, uni, did that kind of shape what you saw your future and like how you saw your future, like travel? I mean, I didn't realize I wanted to travel until I was, 17, 18 years old. I got a lick of it and I said, hey, I want to travel. But how did that come about? I mean, it seems like it's all kind of interlinked. I mean, you saw someone that said, hey, I want to go there. Let's throw a dart at the map and see where it lands. Yeah. And that's where I'm going. If it lands in the ocean, I guess I'm taking a cruise ship. Okay. So how did that come about for you?
That's exactly it. How that came for me? Well, see, what was the question? Sorry,
you gotta love these remote
so much going on
podcasts
in my
because
head. A lot of
connection, it
brainstorming,
jumps.
a lot of stories. It's yeah. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, no, we can hear you. You're good. Go ahead, Patty. Sorry about that.
Right. So, what was the question again there?
It's kind of about finding. How did you find your passion for traveling after being stuck?
How I found my for a lot of people, traveling, I feel, is going to a different country, seeing that country, having fun there. But after the Interrail trip, I realized that traveling is something more than just going to a nice beach, looking at nice stuff. It was more of learning more about yourself, different cultures, and all those different side effects these cultures have on you. You kind of experience how lucky you are, how the opportunity that you were given to be in that place, and to be in that moment, kind of taking that moment in. And so while traveling Europe, I would say, I just scratched the surface of it. I'm still learning all the time, but to live in the moment. That was a big thing. Don't think so far ahead of time. Don't be like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to rush there. This has to be done, that, this whole plan for your life. And after that trip, honestly, everything changed. I was like, okay, this is me now. I need to get better at this and that. And that's what makes me happy. And so I followed all those things that make me happy. And that trip kind of changed the way I look at things. And essentially that's why it pushed me to go to Australia,
No, I mean that kind of brings it all together. That's where I was going to lead on to Bali. I mean that's exactly what I was thinking of as you were saying that. I mean, Patty, when he was in Bali, he was, oh, hey, let's go do this. Let's do that. This is going to be amazing. I love it. So when we were in Bali, he decided to climb a coconut tree to get a coconut. And then he realized that it was pretty high up. So finally, the guy that was the housekeeper.
The house.
Caretaker, I think that's what he was. And he climbed the tree and brought all these coconuts down because this guy right here, Patty, wanted coconuts. So it's really, it's really funny to see how things come together when you really just let yourself, you let loose and you just go out and you do what you really want. I mean, it's just, I don't want to make the show too long here today, but I will say that there's a lot of things surrounding confidence for people. I think that's a topic we'll go into here later on. I mean, I have something. This is Patty. I don't know if I've told you this yet, but I have the dream wall, the dream topic wall. And every time I have an idea, I write it down on a Post-it note and I throw it up there on the wall that's behind the camera. And it's all these topics that I think are going to be really amazing for this show. I mean, one of them, which I think we'll probably go into in our next show, is about, we've kind of talked about it briefly here today, is homework. That's a simple one word, but the sentence comes together and says, why do you stop learning when no one gives you homework? If you don't receive homework, you're not going to go out and learn. You're not going to go out and do it by yourself. You're not going to do something that you're not passionate about. You might go and learn something that you're passionate about, but how about those other things that are important? That's what we're going to, I think in the next show, we're really going to dive deep into. So Project Dream Mastery, there is so many different topics we're going to help you navigate, and we're going to help you understand where your future could be. So let us take you along this journey. Let us take you through the water, hold your hand and bring you out a better person, allow you to find your circle. And I know from myself, and I'm sure Patty as well, we are so excited to have you on the show. This first episode of the Project Dream Mastery show. This is just so exciting to really have this finally kicked off. Patty and I have been kind of thinking about this for 2 years, and I think finally we got our grind.
We got it going.
I'm so excited, man. But with that, I'm going to close the show. Please take a look at our website at projectdreammastery.com, as well as subscribe to this show today so that you can have instant access to our next episodes and so forth. There's also going to be great content on our blog that actually has more of the stories that we talked about today in the content section. So feel free to check those out. Feel free to give them a comment or like, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Again, we are in 2 different time zones, so just be notable of that. So, Patty, is there anything you want to add before we close up today's show?
Honestly, I think that wraps up everything, Lucas. Can't think of anything on top of my head right now. I think that was well said.
We had this was really great. So these shows are unscripted. First off, the beginning part of this show was just because I wanted to make sure that you were able to capture everything that the show is going to encompass and what we really want you to understand. But most of these shows are, I'm going to say actually all of these shows, they are 100% unscripted. Patty and I, we could talk for days. We went on a trip. Like I said, there's a bunch of travel stories. We went on a trip for 21 or 23 days and
23 days, I think it was, yeah.
22 days. We stopped in 19 states and the District of Columbia. That's when Patty came here in 2019. He came in the summer to explore, and we literally camped out in the woods because we were trying to keep it cheap. We were still on a budget. Right. We didn't have our adult jobs yet. And, luckily graduation present was a few nights in a hotel, which were great because
great.
Especially in Colorado, man, that would have been awful.
Geez, that was freezing. Yeah.
11,000 feet in the air. Whew.
Going up to the Rockies. That was something.
So Patty and I can have chats for days, and we're really excited to have you join us today. So with that said, I'm going to close the show with this. Feel free to give us a subscribe to our show, and we really look forward to having you on the next episode of Project Dream Mastery. With that, I'm going to say have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Talk to you soon. Bye.